former detective shares intimate stories from her career solving Washington State's most haunting crimes, while exploring the deep personal cost of confronting humanity's darkest side. The part where you started off at Western Washington University up in Bellingham, and then you decided to come home. What was it? What was that draw to come back home?
I don't think I was really ready to be on my own at that point. I missed home. I missed my, family and friends. And so I just didn't really, it wasn't my place. I felt like just a number up there at Western. It was like such a big school and so spread out and kind of a lonely place. So it just wasn't my thing. And I decided to come back home and enroll at a community college. And then once I finished up there, I ended up going to Central Washington University, but also here in Lakewood. So one of their satellite branches. And then I got hired with the police department after my first semester, I think. First quarter or first semester at Central.
You also mentioned that being, first of all, a young woman and a woman of color was a very difficult transition on the police department. How was that? Is that improved throughout your career?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that I feel like every generation of women sort of like paved the way for the next generation where, things are a little bit easier and a little bit better. Some of the things that my mentors dealt with when they came on the police department in the 70s would just absolutely blow your mind. And, I feel like I didn't really have to deal with anything crazy like that, but I would say things were a much more overt back then. And, there's always going to be, guys in a career, especially in a law enforcement career that, maybe, I don't know, don't think women belong or don't think women can do the job as well as men or whatever. But I think that now, at least in this area, if there are guys that think that way, they tend to keep it to themselves or keep it with their close friends. There are a lot more women, doing the job these days. And so I think that it's gotten better, for women, but I think that there's always going to be a degree of, and it's probably similar in the military. I'm sure it's similar in, firefighting, really any male-dominated field. I do feel like women need to, whether they need to or they have to, sort of prove themselves. And I don't know if that'll ever change, but I do think that women aren't just like accepted off the bat. Like you have to prove that you can actually do this, do the job before you're truly accepted.
So if you hadn't joined the force, what would you have done as a young woman?
That's all I wanted to do. So I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't gotten hired with the police department. I think looking, like if I could go back now and do it over again, I probably would have done the same thing. I always feel like there's a reason for everything and choices that we make might not be completely clear at the moment why, this is the right path, but at some point, it starts to make sense. And so I would probably do it all the same again.